Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Hasbyah Idzhar Aini. I'm from the 6th semester English Education Department, and I here right now to presentation about my thesis proposal. The title is the effectiveness of using storytelling technique on student speaking skill to the second grade students of MAN 1 Mojokerto. Overview, Chapter 1 Introduction, Chapter 2 Literature Review, and Chapter 3 Research Methodology. And the next Chapter 1, Background of the study. According to Hornby, 1995 state that speaking is the skill that the student will be judged up on most in real life situation. It is an important part of everyday interaction, and most often the first impression of a person is based on his or her ability to speak fluently and comprehensively. And then according to Brown, 1980, learning language activity is given to students directly to express their feeling and communicate the feeling, idea, and thought by using conventionalization, sound, gesture, or mark heavy understood meaning in the teaching learning process. And the next, the problem on how the teacher presents the materials. It is found that there are several teachers who are still unable to create a live class situation. The next, the student always thinks speaking English is hard work and not enjoyable, so that when the teacher asks them for practicing speaking in the class, they do not brave enough to speak up, especially in front on a grammar, to cope with the problem. The next point B, problem statement. Problem statement, I have two problems. Number one, how is the effect of the use of storytelling technique to improve student speaking at the second grade of MAN 1 Mojokerto, the academic year of 20 and 21 until 20 and 22. Number two, how is the result of the use of storytelling technique to improve student speaking at the second grade of MAN 1 Mojokerto in the academic 20 and 21 until 20 and 22. The next objective of the study, point 1, to finding out the effectiveness of storytelling to improve the student speaking ability at the second grade of MAN 1 Mojokerto, and then to identify the improvement of the student speaking ability at the second grade of MAN 1 Mojokerto. The next, significance of the study. Significance of the study have 3 points. Point 1, for teachers. The result of this study is expect would make the teacher use storytelling technique in teaching speaking in order to make the classroom more attractive. Point 2, for students. Hopefully, the using of storytelling technique in teaching and learning speaking can give the student a lot of opportunities to be creative and brave in their speaking performance. Point 3, for other researchers. The writer hopes this study can be a reference to other researchers who want to study about the storytelling technique to enhance student English skills. The next, Chapter 2, literature review. Definition of speaking. According to Brown, 21, speaking is an interactive process of constructing that involves producing and receiving information. Its forms and meaning are dependent on the context in which it occurs, including the participant themselves, the collective experience, the physical environment, and the purpose for speaking. It is often spontaneous, open-ended, and involving. The next concept of speaking, the element component of speaking, principle of teaching speaking, and assessment of speaking. Point B, teaching speaking skill. According to Noonan and Burkhardt and Shepard, argue that success in learning a language is measured in terms of the ability to carry out a conversation in the target language. In addition, speaking can support other language skills. Recent research has considered oral interaction as an important factor in the shaping of the learner's developing language. For instance, it was proved that learning speaking can help the development of reading competence, the development of writing, as well as the development of listening skill. The next, see definition of storytelling. According to Ellis and Brewster, storytelling technique can motivate students to develop positive attitude towards the foreign language and language learning. In every story, there will be a moral message can be taken, whether it is negative or positive. If it is negative, teacher must tell the student not to copy, but if it is positive, teacher must tell the student to do so. The next point, D, storytelling as speaking activity. The next previous study. The research about writing by Hasbyah Idzhar an error of the tense used in speaking by senior high school students, that speaking is considered primary in the scan proved by the fact that almost speakers of a language can orally use the language to carry out their daily activities and communicate. And then the next, the research is written by Ayu Fitriana. There are some previous relevant studies that can be referenced for the writer research. And for gap skill, for the previous study number 1, my proposal will use storytelling to increase speaking skill, but the research by Hasbyah Idzhar use daily conversation. And for method, for the previous study number 2, in this research, the writer used pre-experimental study, but I will use quasi-experimental. And the next, chapter 3, research design. In this research, the design used is quantitative design, and the method requires a pre-test and post-test for a treat and comparison group. Therefore, the researcher used quasi-experimental research design. There are 2 classes which are taken as the sample of the study. One class is the experimental group, and then the other class is the control group. The experimental group gets some treatments about speaking, narrative text through video record. In the contrary, the control group does not get the treatment about speaking, narrative the through video record. The next point B, subject of the research. The subject of the research are the students of Islamic Senior High School or Mojokerto, especially second grade in the academic year 20 and 21 until 20 and 22. I chose this school because I was an alumni of Mojokerto, and from what I have studied there, most of them are not confident in speaking English. Point C, the procedure of research. A, post-test, and B, pre-test. The next point D, the technique of data collection. The data collection technique are observation and test, which includes pre-test and post-test. The researcher is helped by the teacher to observe during the process of teaching and learning at experimental group, while the researcher implements video record to teach speaking. Point E, research variable. A, storytelling use of video record as the independent variable, and B, narrative text as the dependent variable. And then the next point, technique of analyzing data. A. Qualitative approach. Qualitative approach collect and summarize data using primarily narrative or verbal method. Observation, interview, and document analysis. And then B. Quantitative approach. Quantitative approach summarizes data using numbers. Hypotheses and method of data collection are created before the research begins. And then this reference. I think enough. The last I say. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.